If you don't know, Boquete is world famous for its coffee. Last year, a kilogram of coffee beans from here sold for over $15,000 US. Well, in case you haven't figured it out yet, I am no longer in Bocas del Toro in Panama. Welcome to Boquete. I arrived here yesterday after a fairly long travel day, about 7 to 8 hours by local bus and boat, of course, from Bocas to here in Boquete. What a completely different part of Panama compared to where I was. If you don't know, Boquete is world famous for its coffee. Last year, a kilogram of coffee beans from here sold for over $15,000 US. It is world renowned because the coffee that is grown here is exclusive to the hills in this town and is considered to be some of the most delicious that you can try. So we're going to try a small sample of some of that very expensive type of coffee while we're here and talk about my thoughts on Panama so far. It is a very different experience from what I had in Costa Rica, and it's a really cool place that I think a lot of people sleep on, and I don't think that they should. I'm just making my way down through town here from where I'm staying, which I will show you later, and gonna go get some breakfast first and start our morning here. One of the cool things about this town, as you saw there in the sort of initial shots, is all the high mountains on this part of the town are all covered in like mist and fog. There was even a bit of a mist in the air yesterday, and when I was walking down last night, I arrived here late yesterday, and there was a rainbow, which I'll throw a picture of here on the screen, and it was really cool. So in case you're looking at me and going, why do you look different? Well, it's because I had a beard trim, I got a haircut. Special thanks to Omar at Calavera in Bocas, did a great job. I carry around a photo of myself with a clean cut, so I can just kind of go, hey, make me look like this again. And yeah, he did a great job, so well worth it. Fun fact, that is the third haircut out of the last 4 now, I believe, that have been on islands. I don't know why that always happens, but nonetheless, it is a cool fact, I suppose. So, shot here some of the hills around the town. See some fog and clouds kind of lingering up there at the end of the road on the tops of those hills. Last night this was kind of covered over as the day progressed. Really pretty spot here. And not a big town, so if you're not familiar, Boquete is kind of sort of at the end of the road, in that when you get here, you actually have to go back to where you came from to get out of here. There's no real like continuous way through because there's a big national park on the other side of the city. So we're just gonna head down here, grab some breakfast. I'll show you where I ate last night also, because there's a really, really good little local place here that I had a great meal at last night. They had ribeye steak wrapped in bacon with mushroom gravy, and then they had all kinds of other stuff, but food was awesome and very well priced, I thought, for what you get. And I was starving, so of course I probably ordered more than I should have. This is sort of the main road through town here, and everything kind of runs off of this town, so you've got streets sort of, you know, left and right of it. And let's get across here while we can, while it's quiet. You get this really cool statue here in the middle of town, celebrating the bicentennial independence of Panama in 2021, 200 years. So we're just gonna head right just down here for breakfast. There's a local place here that I scoped out that looked pretty good from the reviews. and it is just next door to where I had supper last night. So this place here, El Sabrosón Número Uno, is a really good local place if you want some food here in town. It's kind of a cafeteria style, so you go in and they've got all these different dishes you can pick from. Each thing's individually priced, so you can kind of set, you know, what you want based on your pricing or how much you want on your plate. And it was quick, efficient, and was filled with locals, which to me is always a good sign that the food must be good and the prices must be reasonable. So again, those are the kind of places I like to go to and support, are the local places whenever I visit somewhere. But it's really easy to get to. It's right here again, right here on the main drag, and it is here if you want to check it out. And we're going for breakfast just a few doors down. Fonda y Café Bébé, great breakfast spot, local. It was $3.70 for sausage, 2 fried eggs, some fried bread, and coffee with milk. So that was a fantastic deal. And another spot where no tourists, just locals. Definitely a good place to check out here in Boquete. So from here, I'm just gonna take a little walk down through town here. I kind of came up yesterday in a rush with my bags, trying to get up to where I'm checked in and everything, of course. And let's just go for a little loop around town. And then on the way back, we're gonna stop at a place that has some of the local world famous Gesha coffee available. And at a reasonably affordable price, all things considered. So one of the fun facts here about Boquete is that here is where one of the few railways actually existed in the country for a period of time. Back in the early 1900s, there were feasibility studies done here in Panama about increasing, you know, train lines to help move produce and those types of things throughout the country. It was determined in about 1910 that the costs would have been too much to do most of the country. However, they did create the Ferrocarril de Chiriquí, which is the province that I'm standing in here in Boquete. Starting in 1916, they actually had a rail line that would go from here in Boquete down to David, which is where the buses come and go to get here. That train line lasted here until about 1990, when it was finally shut down for good. I believe the government ran it from 1974 onward, and then by the end of the 90s, all of the rail lines were then repurposed for other things in the country, building bridges, those types of things. But what's kind of neat is that this municipal palace building here, Jose Domingo Canandaigua, is actually the original train station for the train stop here in the city. And so they actually had the rail cars that would come up as far as here, and the train line actually runs down. There's sort of a main street here now, right where that bus is parked. And the rail line actually continued right down there towards David. So this here is what's sort of left of the original train line. They had this train car that's here. There's a sign here up on the wall that talks about the Ferrocarril Nacional de Chiriquí and Boquete. And this was, again, as I said, this was the train station, so this is kind of how it went. And if I stand here, you can see the road continues onward down this way from there. There are now only, I believe, 2 functioning train lines in the country of Panama. One is a tourist train that kind of follows the length of the Panama Canal from Atlantic to Pacific and back. And then there's one other short line near Panama City. They also have, train lines and stuff like commuter rail, I guess, in Panama City, but that's kind of a different sort of topic or a different type of train, I suppose. But that was it. And as I said, this is all that remains of it today. The lines themselves were completely removed, so there's not even any trace of them today at all here in the city of Boquete. So just across from the municipal palace is Domingo Park, which is sort of the central park in the town, and nice place to come and people watch if you want to get some shade. Really pretty spot here. They got it all decorated and filled with plants and flowers and things. There's of course the typical band shell here in the middle. It's a really pretty town. They've got it really nicely decorated. Definitely has that touristy feel to it, but without the tourist prices that you find in some other spots. They've also got this really nice walking street here that's completely covered in flowers. I'm sort of in the middle, but they go that way and then over this way, which is where we're headed. So one of the places I researched that was recommended to come and try some Gesha coffee is here at Historia de Café de Panama. So we're going to head over there now and grab a cup and see if Gesha coffee is worth the extra money.
Let's go to see how we have from the Gesha. We need 16 grams.
Okay.
16. No, 15 grams, sorry.
Gonna be close.
13. We have 13. Now we need to make the radium to this
Okay.
portion of the Gesha. Okay. Your name is?
Ian. ¿Y tú?
Ian. Luis.
Mucho gusto.
Encantado. Okay, you need to help me, guys. This is too strong, too much
Yep.
work to make a Gesha. You got to do it this way. I hold the camera for you.
Sure.
Okay, this is a new barista in Vintage Cafe. This is the first experience to the Gesha. Did you feel when you scratch the bean of the coffee?
Yep.
This is the first experience to the Gesha. You
Okay.
do. We have one guy over here. He's a
Expert.
just to see expert.
There we go.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I smell your coffee. How do you
Yep.
think?
Getting there. I was saying that I wasn't 100% convinced that it was going to be any different, so we're going to see how this turns out.
Okay, we got to use the Chemex tube.
Yep.
Drink your coffee. We have to clean the filter first. A little bit. And we need to wait to the exactly temperature of the water. In this case, we're going to use the 92 degrees to have a very nice brew.
Very specific temperature every time.
Yeah. It's a very, very interesting to the temperature. Put the coffee here.
Okay.
0. And wait. Normally, this is the experience that people come to try right here to the Gesha. But
Yep.
this is the last Gesha we have today.
It's all right.
You're a very lucky guy.
Just perfect timing, I guess.
Yeah, perfect timing. That's right. Let me see the writing. Let's go to do.
How long have you been here?
I bought here.
Really?
Of course.
Nice.
I'm Boqueteñan guy.
How long has your coffee shop been
We
here?
got almost 6 years next May.
Wow. Nice.
15 May, we got to have 6 years.
Very
Just
cool.
we are coffee hub from Boquete.
Yep.
Just we work with the small producer of the coffee.
Okay.
We never work with big one.
Right.
The big one have the all network and whatever. The small one doesn't have it.
So do you get the same coffee from the same place all the time?
No,
Different.
different price. Different price. The coffee is a different. In the case us, I'm no producer.
Yep.
I'm hub.
Right.
Do you bring me your coffee? Another guy bring me your coffee. You see, we have 4 different coffee right there.
Oh yeah.
And we process everything. And sometimes the people process his own coffee.
Yep.
It doesn't have the machine and everything we do for them.
Right. That's good.
It's another experience, you know.
Yeah. That's great. One more pour.
Yeah. Number 3. There one. We're stopping at 130.
So 130 grams of water, exactly,
Yeah.
for the 13. So it's like a 10-to-1 ratio then.
Yeah. We're wanting to take the best of this geisha specifically. This is the process of this geisha is natural. Why is the process are natural? The people pick the bean to the tree
Yep.
and put in the sun.
Yep.
That's it. Whole bean.
Perfect.
What can happen then? The bean is sweet, and they take he's dry with the sugar of the coffee inside.
Right.
When you process, it's a little more sweet to the other ones.
Yeah.
That you get to feel right there.
I could smell the difference already.
Of
So
course. The first one, do you see the color of your coffee?
yeah.
It's clear.
Yep.
You know?
It is.
Normal-
Yeah.
yeah.
Usually much darker. So yeah,
Of
that's a big
course.
difference.
Now smell.
Yeah.
Now I got to put in your cup.
It's almost like a tea color instead of a coffee
that's right,
color,
that's
which you
right.
expect, you know?
Now, don't try it immediately. Smell a little bit, wait
Let
two or
it
time,
let it
and
breathe.
for that, of course, make one sip,
Yep.
take with that in your mouth, and in.
All right.
That's right.
So here we have our Gesha coffee, which was exactly 13 grams of coffee and then 130 grams of water, 3 pours through a Chemex, and we'll see what the difference is. It has a different smell and different color to it entirely. So let's see how this turns out.
Pon ese sombrero allá abajo. Y después los agarramos. Si es el mío, y los domingos a misa. Did you really try?
Yeah, just
Tell
a
me.
little. Very different.
Of course.
It's got almost like a sweet flavor to it,
That's right.
you know, which is different. Obviously, like I've drank a lot of coffee in my life, and a lot of different kinds, different flavors and stuff, and so much of it just tastes like it's burned, you know, like it's just
That's
over roasted.
That's right. Yeah. Over roasters is normal. People know the flavor to the over roaster.
Yeah, yeah. And I've had some, like there's some coffee roasters back home in Canada where I'm
Yeah.
from, and you know they have some things that are similar to this, but not the same.
No, then
No.
The geisha, the nut, we call it nuts. The
Yeah.
nut is the flavor.
Right.
Everybody knows the flavor of the coffee, the geisha coffee that different to the other one.
Mm-hmm.
They have 3 very interesting flavors. The first one is the flower,
Yep.
and the flower we have jasmine.
Yep.
And the second one we call it to fruit, tropical fruit. The tropical fruit we say citrus.
Yep.
In the citrus, of course, you have lime, you have pomelo or grapefruit.
Yep.
You have mandarina.
Yep.
You have many flavors,
Yeah, yeah.
citric flavors.
Yep.
And the third one is cacao.
Right. Of course.
And the people say chocolate. Chocolate is no cacao.
That's a very different flavor.
Chocolate is milk,
Yep.
cacao, and sugar.
That's right.
Cacao is a little bitter, very
It
friendly.
can, it can be very bitter. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
That do you have right there.
Yeah. 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 It's really good.
Yeah, it's a very nice experience. The people love experience to the geisha.
Yep. That is definitely a different flavor, unique flavor to any other coffee that I've had before. Oh,
That's
thank
it.
you.
Did you follow us by Instagram?
Well, that's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. There's the. I'll put this on camera too. 'Cause there's the QR code if you want to have a scan and to look at this place.
Yes.
So if you're going to come to Boquete and try some geisha coffee, and you want a good experience, this would be definitely the place to come and check out. It's not sponsored or anything. I paid for the coffee, of course, but a good experience, just a good, good time, good conversation, and can't recommend it enough. So make sure you come by here and check out the geisha coffee. So I would say that it is definitely a unique coffee experience. It has definitely a flavor unlike any other coffee I'll ever try. Obviously the care and the method that they use there is all part of the process, but I think it's a good one. I was just good timing because I happened to get to the very last of the coffee that they had, the final 13 grams of that batch, and it was good. It was a very good experience. I'm glad I got a chance to check it out here in Boquete. Let's head back up to my place. I'll show you where I'm staying, and then we'll talk a little bit about Panama so far. So this is Agaseke Lodge here in Boquete where I'm staying. It is a dorm room. It's got 6 beds. I actually slept up there last night, but I am moving to a lower bed tonight. The room comes with lockers for everybody. Comes with a private bathroom for the room with hot water, which is super nice. And there's also a nice kitchen here, which I'll take you to in a moment to show you around the backside. It's in a good spot. It's a few blocks up from the main street, so it's pretty quiet here at night, which is nice. Lots of great people hanging out here, which is always a nice benefit to wherever you stay. Nice view from the front here, with the mountains in the background. There's some nice hammocks here, sort of in the shade over there in the corner, which is super nice. And we'll go around to the back. I'll show you the kitchen. So it's a pretty sizable kitchen area, which is good for the guests that they have. There's lots of dishes and food storage is here, and lots of other things for cooking, toaster oven, microwave. There's a full stove and oven here, lots of dishes, coffee maker, and a refrigerator to store your stuff in. The Wi-Fi here is awesome. It's very strong, which is great for me, especially trying to get some work done. And yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for an economical place to stay here in Boquete. There are lots of options here in the city of all price ranges, so there's something for everyone. But this place came highly recommended, well reviewed, and I can definitely see why. It's a great spot. So yeah, if you're coming to Boquete, definitely check this place out. I'll put the information here on the screen, and I think it worked out to about 14 US per night for the shared accommodations, which is very reasonable. I'm just hanging out here. There's sort of a seating area here where I'm staying, and it's a really cool spot. It's really nice and relaxing here. Nice big sofa to sit on, and I thought it'd be a good place to kind of share some thoughts on Panama so far. So I'll start this obviously by saying I've only made 2 stops so far in Panama, Bocas del Toro in here in Boquete, and I have one more planned in Panama City. And I don't think a country that you should miss. I think a lot of people sort of look at it as, oh, it's just the Panama Canal, and oh, it's just the big Panama City, and all this sort of stuff. But it's got a cool vibe to it. I really dig it so far. It's much more laid back than Costa Rica was, and I get the sense from the people that I talk to here and just the general environment and stuff that it's a bit more laid back, which I really like. The people here are really kind. Everyone's very friendly. Everyone says hello, asking how your day is going, all that sort of stuff. And I really enjoy it so far. And my only regret, I suppose, is that I only have the 3 stops here planned at the moment. I'm going to be flying to Mexico to spend some time with my brother and his family. They're coming down for a break, and so I'm going to go meet with them. But yeah, I definitely want to come back and see more of Panama in the future. I think that, where I've been to all the other countries in the region multiple times for the most part, I'd really like to come back here and give this place the same amount of attention that I have in some others. So it's been really great. I've had a really nice time so far, and I have to say, cost-wise, it is about half or less than Costa Rica. So keep that in mind too when you're traveling. If you're traveling on a budget and looking for places to maximize that, even in like busier touristy places like Bocas del Toro and here in Boquete, both of which are very popular stops. It's been very affordable. I had breakfast today for $3.75. I had breakfast in Bocas del Toro for $3 to $3.50, depending on what I got with my breakfast. So compare that to the $10 to $12 that it was in Costa Rica for basically the same breakfast. It's a big difference. And again, my whole philosophy has been to travel and to show you, reasonably affordable places to stay, affordable places to eat, and just kind of showcase these places as they are without, I'm not trying to make anything controversial or flashy or anything else. I'm just trying to show you things as they are. And I feel like Panama is definitely a place that you shouldn't miss.